Okay, well, the Board of Assessors meeting is called to order at 8:32. This meeting is being recorded by the Board of Assessors. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. The chair and the Board of Assessors reserves the right to remove or have removed any persons for profanity, threats, or any continued disruption during a meeting. So we call it to order and roll call of members. Chuck, Jim, Randy is absent for now. Okay, public comment. No discussion or comments will be entertained unless requested upon by the chairperson of the board or committee. Speaking time is 3 minutes for each person. Member of the public must state their name and address or precinct. Do I hear a motion to open public comment?
I move.
Done.
Aye.
Aye.
I move we approve the previous meeting minutes.
So moved and
Aye.
aye. Right. And now we're on to new business.
Excise.
Oh, I'm sorry, excise, yes.
So I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to close public comment.
Oh, before we do that,
Or, yeah,
I move we close public comment. Oh, well, yeah, it's in the past, we left it open for the whole meeting, but Quinn told us we're not supposed to do that anymore.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
so what?
So
Okay,
we could like put it on the agenda later on if we wanted to open it again at a different.
yeah, we talked about this last time, so, a member of the public, L. Norman was here
Yeah.
at the new growth meeting.
okay.
And,
Which I wasn't at.
Right,
Yeah.
but he was he found the 3 minute the public comment period at the beginning of the meeting to be insufficient for he would have either liked to have seen all the materials ahead of time and then make his public comment, or he would have liked to have had the comment period at the end so he could make his comment based on what he'd seen. He also wasn't happy with the 3 minute limitation. But I had talked to Quinn immediately before the meeting.
Mhm.
And so Quinn basically said we could have the comment period at the beginning, we can have it at the end, but it has to be, we have to limit people to 3 minutes. And we can't have it open during the whole meeting because then people might say things which took us to things which aren't on the agenda.
Yeah, it would just take us it would,
But isn't that a matter of just controlling the meeting? You say, I'm sorry, that's not on the agenda?
I think you can say that, yeah, but we're not supposed to leave it open for the entire duration of the agenda. It has to be like one item opened and then closed. And if we wanted to, add it later on, we would just have to specify that on the agenda.
So I think, can we have for the future meetings, can we have public comment at the end rather than the beginning?
Yep.
Or both if Quinn says it's okay.
Yep, I will double check with them,
Yeah.
like towards the end of the agenda, just like.
Just so they have a chance to have heard everything and then they can tell us what we did right or wrong.
Yeah, I think at the beginning and at the end. The beginning because people may be carrying baggage with them.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
at the end because they may have picked up some baggage along the way.
Great.
Okay,
All right.
all right. So excise weeks, start there.
So we've got a bunch of stuff going on with excise. We did commitment 4, so we'll have you guys sign off on that, but we'll start with the abatements for the last 2 weeks. So we also have some recommitments.
Today's the 23rd. Okay. 12/41/14. I don't think that's gonna break the bank.
It's fewer and fewer as the year goes on, as you might imagine. All righty, and then we've got. Let's see, so we've got several different recommitments. Start us with. Commitment 4. This guy, that we sent this out on the 19th.
Okay.
Morning.
Right. So 72 grand. And this is a commitment, oh, this is this is excise.
Yes.
Oh. And this represents new vehicles.
It's new vehicles or it's vehicles that have been re-registered.
Great.
Now, I have a lot of stickies all over these. I don't know if they're helpful.
They're definitely helpful. That's how I knew.
They are helpful, except for people that you know.
Are just back from music camp.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah.
And so we've got several different recommitments for excise as well. So what that is somebody moving from one town to another. They abated the bill in Shelburne, for example, and rebuilt us. So there's a couple different ones. They're smaller and we've attached the actual bills for you to see as well.
Okay.
Check that out.
Right.
So that's one. Some of these are from previous years as well.
Okay.
Got a backlog.
Stickies are. Okay, there we go.
You guys, hands are gonna be sore at the end of this, sorry. So here's one from 21.
Okay. Oh, $26.
I know, yeah, it.
Next.
Another little one.
Mhm. 37. Whoa. Getting into the big numbers. Well, he's on.
We'll be able to do this all electronically.
I know that would be great. Getting there.
It costs so much to store all this paper. And it's even costing more to find anything in it.
Yeah. We're getting there eventually, though. It's better than it was some years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, Eunice is a powerful program. Okay, like eventually.
Whoa.
Oh, you're here.
Yeah,
Hey, Randy.
there you go.
Hi, so this is Chris and Cal from RRC. Ian is, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Hello again.
Chris and Sally, nice to meet you, Chuck. Officially, how are you again?
I'm well, how are you? Here we go.
So we just want to come up and meet you guys. And thanks for the opportunity.
Okay.
Hopefully, we get a lot done. Looks like there's a lot to do.
Well, you heard Jim and I walk this.
I heard you like doing Discovery. I could hire both of you if you want to go do it in North Adams for me.
North Adams is a pretty town.
Well, you can start driving the streets this weekend if you'd like.
Preferred.
You can go to Mass Mocha.
Yeah.
There's no mass mocha in. You gotta drive.
No, that's after you're done.
Yes, when you're done, and you can go to the pub after that too.
Oh, now there's,
There's the key.
So do we have any questions for Chris?
when are you gonna be done?
It's gonna be a little while. Luckily, it's not a certification, year, so we got
Right.
some time.
Good,
Yeah,
The conversion's done, so you're up on our software now.
great.
So we'll do training and installation once the job's done. I have 5 people here for this week. Then I have to get a couple other certifications done, and then we'll be back probably first week in September and wrap it up. Probably be 2 to 3 weeks total collection time.
Okay.
If I can keep 5 people here, so.
Okay.
But yeah,
Think there's any chance we're gonna make any money out of this?
boy, I was looking at it, honestly, it's a lot of stuff where it hasn't been touched in years. And it looks like a lot of items were never removed in prior years. So I needed to clean that up and take off a ton of equipment that people claimed no longer existed. You know, you had like 2008 computers, 2010 stuff, typewriters and answering machines. But yeah, I mean, all we need to do is hit a couple really good ones, and yeah.
Make it all back?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We don't fabricate it, and if you don't have it, you don't have it. But, you know, a few of them did go up a few $100,000 already, looking at some of the lists.
Nice.
A few of the gas stations were definitely undervalued. The hotels were extremely undervalued. So I think the Hampton Inn went from like 20,000 to 450,000.
Wow, okay.
So
and that's what they'll typically do. All of a sudden they.
Your McDonald's and
All the stuff is gone, it's depreciated down and then.
Yeah, and they leave it zero.
All the rooms empty.
right, and then they don't file.
Yeah.
So people aren't compliant either. So if you're not out there staying on top of it, everything just depreciates every year. And this is what I really hate about this type of tax bill, because, you know, if someone does something in the house, they take a permit out, they do this. You have checks and balances, so you know they're doing something. Personal property, if you don't send out send in your formal list, there's no penalty.
Yeah.
And you get depreciated every year, your value goes down.
Like that Foster's with everything from 1986. It's just.
So why would you ever file? So you see your bill go down every year. And you never file, and you're like, this is fantastic. And then the person who files every year keeps increasing, so it's
Yeah.
like the honest person gets hurt.
Actually, when we were canvassing, there was a couple of people that we actually ran into in person.
Yeah.
Like owners.
Yeah.
And first question, who are you? What are you doing here? Second comment was, do that, get after it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're gonna find a bunch of new ones, as you guys know, you found a bunch of new ones. And, you know, fair and equitable, that's our game, so they're all gonna be treated the same. Some accounts that we might go there and they might say, you know, I sold my bulldozer, I sold this, I'm just semi-retired now. That happens, and then we might go to somewhere and they have 50 pieces of new equipment.
Yeah.
So, but there's enough volume here where I think we'll make you some money. I do.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Well, it needed to be done, for
Yeah.
sure. So we've been adding a lot of clients. North Adams is a new client. We just got Ludlow. We've been Palmer. So it seems like this part of the state has been kind of neglected as far as people doing personal property.
So I'm thinking about publicizing stuff. So when you come back for the second round in September,
Mhm.
we ought to, drop another news release saying, you're finishing up.
Sure.
And I think when you've got some preliminary results, it would be useful to say, preliminary.
Well, we do, there'll be an open disclosure period, I believe, where taxpayers can come in.
Yeah, okay.
I think that is part of it. I think they
Okay.
give them a week where you can come in and just look at the books, but it's all public information.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just.
We're talking about crowing.
About what?
Crowing, taking credit.
Oh. The numbers are good. You don't want to scare the public though and say, wow, these people from North Andover, Massachusetts came in here and jacked us all up.
Well, you can crow. I want to publicize so the people see it coming and there aren't any surprises. And the public disclosure.
Well, we already did one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know, but that was a warning shot.
And we were contacted by someone from the Greenfield Business Association too.
Good.
Who came in and asked a few questions.
Right.
So, I filled her in on what was going on and some of the rules and regulations of what we're trying to do and fair and equitable, that yes, there's a lot
That's
of
the
accounts
key.
that are missed. She mentioned maybe trying to do a video for her group, and I volunteered to be part of it. So, anything that we can do to get the word out. And I also made sure that the frequently asked questions for personal property were right on the link on the alert, so that if they go and they'll see the alert
Very
on
good.
page one, and then when they get to that page, there's a link to the frequently asked questions.
Well, you're already pro-business too. I mean, you guys do tax everything under 10,000. You exempt everything under 10,000.
Yeah,
So that's a very nice.
And Hannah was very happy
Small
to
mom and pop
to hear that, and
businesses.
that relieved a lot of tension kind of right away when I mentioned that, so.
So that's very good.
Was that in our release announcing our hiring? Or see?
I didn't see that in there, but I'm not sure you would want that in there. I
You're
like
right. No,
what
you're
you
right.
guys were, you make
We want
everybody
every
click
file-
in,
everyone to
and then
follow.
when they're reading the fact, then they're like, oh, I don't have to worry.
Correct.
But at least they all, you know,
Yeah, you want them to file.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Well, I gotta get back to it. Thanks for meeting you all.
Nice meeting
Have a
you.
good day.
it's nice.
Meet you.
Right.
Make it back.
You're coming back?
Yeah, I'll try and make. Yes.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks,
All
Frank.
right, see you soon. Okay.
Good. Cool.
It's hopeful, positive.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one.
Yes. Oh, and you saw there's the timeline webinar,
I'm attending that. Yeah, that's tomorrow, I think,
something.
or the next day. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm signed up for that, so I'm looking forward to that.
I thought you would.
Yeah.
I registered for the course 200 and I paid for it myself. And I'm hoping Randy will get me the,
Reimbursement?
yeah, because I didn't see any way when I was registering to tell it to use a city thing. It was like your credit card or else.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yep, I know, he knows about that and he's working on it, but
Thanks.
I think next time you don't, or if you're gonna do something like that again, you don't have to pay first. The city would.
I know, but there was no button.
Yeah,
There was one way on the MAAO.
oh, yeah, I think it, well,
There's a way I just don't know about.
yeah.
All right.
okay,
Okay,
so that takes care of excise.
yes.
Okay, so assessor office operations. Okay. I'm thinking that the calendar timeline, maybe that should be first.
Okay, yeah, I can move that. Um,
But we'll stick with the order of operation, the order here for now.
Okay.
So can you speak to anything going on? Other than you being worked to death and underpaid?
It's going well. Like I said, the commitment for went out. Bills will be due at the end of this week, so we'll see increased foot traffic. Exemptions have been rolling in. So I've been checking those out. There are several that we are missing files for, so I've been chasing people down for those.
Thank you.
What else is going on? Chapter will go out in August. The applications, we're gonna mail those out, and other than that, can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Are you guys falling behind without that clerk?
I wouldn't say so. Not, I mean, like,
Master Tatar?
oh yeah, he has been in, he's been doing some shredding for us, and I think he's gonna do some going on.
Our open position.
Oh, the open.
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, so maybe you're not falling behind, but maybe when you get the clerk, you guys will be able to do some of these things that are our other agenda items.
Yeah, I would hope so. Again, like it's gonna be another, well, depending on who applies for that position, we'll see, but it'll be, if they're brand new, we'll have to spend a fair amount of time, like getting them settled in. So everything is, everything takes a little time, but yeah, it's been
Has,
okay.
has HR been, are they doing what they need to do?
Oh, yeah, yep. So hopefully,
Hi, Keith.
Hey, Keith.
howdy.
Great to hear.
He's downstairs.
Yeah.
You guys meeting night? No,
We're in the-
he was in, he has, our RRC contact. So they came up here, we said hi, and
Okay,
he has to deal with him before he can come back.
that's great.
Okay.
But yeah,
Right. And anything going on with RG?
same old, nothing really new to update. David has been in, he's been doing permits. He's coming in today, actually, to work. He's going out in the field and, collecting potential properties that might be offer new growth and inspecting, going out and doing drive-bys currently. So, yeah.
And let's see, staffing, just talked about that.
So yeah, we should have, I'll be moving, I'll be applying for the assistant assessor position, and then we'll be able to post for the administrative assistant position, and that's gonna be, I think, posted internally for, I think, a period of, I'm not sure, maybe around 10 days, might be a little more or less, I'd have to check exactly. And then they'll be able to, if nobody applies internally, then we'll post to the public. So,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And the budget allowance, I mean, I think there's no update on the budget relative to these points, right? No. I'm wondering whether some of these things shouldn't be listed as discussion as required.
Yeah. Yep. How
Maybe we can go through that when we're
Yeah.
done with the list.
would be happy to.
Okay, board help with administration. Is there, if you're gonna be inundated with people, do you need us to help field some of those inquiries? Hang around the office, talk to folks?
I wouldn't imagine so. Could be. This might be something that Randy could weigh in on a little bit.
Okay.
Just not sure what he's looking for.
Well, if you have a ton of people lined up.
Yeah.
You can always just text the two retired guys and maybe we're hanging around
Okay, great.
and could come in and, talk to some, and if nothing else, we can amuse people by talking to them at their house while they wait.
Right.
Yeah, you could call one retired guy and one guy with lots of time flexibility.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the timeline, where are we?
I haven't added anything new to it since the last time.
Okay.
So I could go through it again if you want to. I think I sent it out to you guys. So I don't know if you've
Well,
been able to look over it.
send over something on.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's the same thing, but
June, July, inspect and process. Okay, new construction inspection. Updated new growth revenues. When is the new growth stuff supposed to be done?
so I believe that the deadline is June 30th to capture it, but we have until like September to so we can like
Okay.
look back and see what was done up until June 30th, but we can, we're
Okay.
reporting it in September, I believe, is when it needs to be in by, I
Yeah.
think. I have to check on that.
Right, and
But it's currently ongoing still, so it hasn't ended at this time. We're still working on it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Stephanie is bugging.
Okay, she can't get in.
Can't get in and she's having the same problem I had last time
All right.
and I had this morning.
Oh, good, okay.
But I
that's
fixed
good,
it
but-
this morning.
All right.
The way I Kludge fixed it is you can invite somebody from the console.
Okay,
So I just went in there and typed my email address. I have Stephanie's, so I can work on that for you guys to talk more.
okay.
And I can send her a link.
Else waiting too, or is it just her?
Let me see. No, I
Can I
can't,
give you her address?
yeah, let's. Jesus. What is this?
Also grab, I know Matt is aware that there might be issues with the Zoom link, so I can go grab him.
That's right. The issue is with the Zoom link.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab him.
I mean, you don't have to fix it now,
Okay,
but for next time.
yeah, yeah, but if it's happening too, so.
Uh,
See me?
When I send her this, she'll be able to get it.
Okay. Let him know, still a problem.
Trying to,
Here. Can I type it in while you do your work?
I can't.
I'll do it.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Technical difficulty.
I did this earlier.
How the hell,
It took me a while to figure out.
and I was putting my finger,
Yeah, it's a special kind of tapping.
okay.
I don't know.
That's 3 times. Took that.
Yeah, and that's also, the response is slow too. So you hit it twice and it cancels it.
Yeah, that's probably what it's doing, yeah.
Okay. We're,
They were at the timeline.
yeah, I was thinking that maybe we start with the calendar timeline
Next time,
next time.
yeah, I'll move it up.
And then we also talked about a bunch of these things we ought to just lump under, items that we may discuss and may not.
Okay.
Make sense, Randy?
Mhm.
And then we'll figure out what those are. We're done with the list. Okay, we were talking about the new growth and the timing of that and the CPA report.
No, is that something that you have done at this time or whenever, when it is that we?
Yeah, there's a submission that we have to do between us and the account.
Okay,
And so, yeah, it's a gateway submission. So that's a good reminder. I'll talk to Angela about that. Basically reporting the total amount of CPA that we received last year.
Happens, we just have to submit that sometime in
Yeah,
July.
it's this time of year that I'm sure, actually, I think we have up until September.
Oh, okay,
and the periodic inspections.
And that's what David is doing right now.
We still don't have a sense, we're still not getting reports out of RG about how many properties and where they are and.
David was gonna get me an update. I thought. I have an email from him stating that he was gonna have that, but he's, with the. Oh, here we are. I even have it.
did Stephanie is?
Stephanie?
David is.
Excellent.
She is, okay.
Oh, there she
Oh,
goes.
hello there, Stephanie.
From David saying.
And Ryan, wow. Hail, the gang's all here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we reopen public comment or should we do it at the end or something?
Let's get through this agenda
Okay,
and then we'll open it up.
all right.
Yeah, he said, I think you to open it up. It was Quinn. Able to come up
Gwen was
and
not
see
able
us?
to, they had the staff downstairs because somebody was out today, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
but they're happy to come to another one,
Yeah, that's fine.
maybe the next one even.
Yeah, because I think that was one of the things was public comment. You open it and then you close it and then that's it.
Yeah, and
Pop in and out like we've been doing.
well, before the last meeting started, Quinn had a little tutorial for me as the acting chair. And that's where they laid out all the stuff for me.
Yeah.
So, but because of the mess up, I feel like, well, anyway, let's get through it and then.
Okay. All right, so valuation capture, new growth. Okay. Anything there?
I mean, well, we can talk about the
I'd like to hear
meeting.
about the meeting, yeah.
I mean, there are minutes, right? Or there will be
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
there will be minutes. I will send those out to you guys as soon as.
Okay.
Oh, good.
But
it was also recorded, so if you wanted to like watch it, it's on GSET on YouTube.
And how do I find it?
I'll send you a link, but
But
there's.
yeah, send me a link, but I'd also like to know how to find it.
just search YouTube for Greenfield Community Television.
Okay.
And I just subscribe to that, so I
Okay.
have them all.
Oh, okay.
Many of them have a number of views greater than one.
Some of those might be me too.
Some of them people watch though.
Yeah.
I got some positive comments from some people about what we're doing in our meeting,
That's great.
Good.
and some not so positive. But I got some positive.
Is it worth sharing with the rest of the group, even anonymizing them?
About both?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It was only 3. So the negative comment was that just the person was upset they didn't get a chance to speak as much as they wanted to when they wanted to. And that they didn't get materials ahead of time. And that we weren't following the OML the way we should. Some combination of the above.
Okay.
And
Positive comment?
disagreement about the OML stuff we just talked about. The positive were both actually for me personally having to do with my remarks during our meeting with the collector.
Good for you.
Huh?
And what were the nature of the remarks?
I think just that I was having the interests of the customer or hey, you gotta do that.
What did you do?
There was the meeting with the Hannah from
Great.
Yeah, Business Association.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it was a productive meeting. So Keith came in the morning and told me, asked me a few questions about it because, they
Yeah.
were concerned and had contacted him. So I filled them in as much as I could. And I had an inspection that I was going to do, but I made sure that I got back in time, just in time. So I came from the parking lot and took the elevator up and just, was only 5 minutes late. But had the opportunity to have a good meeting with her and explain and, calm some potential fears. And then also a large part of it was just reaching out to the business community. And I've done that in the past with trying to attend a Rotary meeting, but I think it's good for the assessor to be accessible to the business community. So whatever I can do to encourage that or participate in whatever thing that they have going.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
I some time ago, I looked at the Chamber of Commerce list in an attempt to get all the businesses that were part of the chamber, the Greenfield businesses that were part of the chamber, just to get a listing of that. It was impossible to get from the chamber membership list,
Right.
So I'll go back to Jesse and see if I can't get a list of the businesses.
Well, we were trying to do that, really establish a list of businesses, Greenfield businesses, and whose responsibility is that. And so that was part of the conversation yesterday too.
With
Hannah.
Hannah.
With Hannah, yes. And she said that they had, what they thought was a decent list, and they sent out a mailing recently and got 25% of those back. And so they're dealing with the same type of thing. And technically, I think really we're supposed to have that if we're doing our personal property effort and staying on top of it. Then every year, walking the streets and finding out who's new and who's, we're supposed to have that really.
Yeah.
Or we can't really, I can't say we can capture everything, but let's say 90% of the businesses at least, or aspire to maybe a greater number than that. But really, we should be able to provide that for anyone that asks by just the personal property accounts, because whether they're paying a bill or not, or whether they're below our $10,000 exemption or not, we're still supposed to know about them.
Right. And I think that the RRC thing is going to help us a lot in that regard.
It's going to help us right now, but then we need to maintain it going forward. And so whether that's paying them to do it or whether we're doing it in-house.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking about was getting a list of business, I wanted to get a list of businesses from the chamber so we could, in our canvassing, so we had a sense of
Oh, right,
what
to
was
do a
going on.
comparison.
Yeah, so I'll see if, I think that's still a good exercise, and I'll
Sure.
reach out to Jesse and see if I can.
And then after this is done, then
Then-
hopefully compile a decent list.
Yeah,
And, that would be great to compare to other sources, because if there's somehow someone that we missed that they're aware of, that, but somehow we weren't, neither did our RC didn't figure it out either.
yeah, I'm wondering whether, I mean, first of all, the Chamber of Commerce covers more area than just Greenfield. But if we get the Greenfield members and we reach out to them on the chamber list, especially the ones that are members of the chamber, but not the GBA.
Mhm.
And then we have the GBA do another mailing just to remind people about form of list and that sort of stuff, and then collate their results, meaning people that have moved, people that are new. And then we just add that to the, our personal property list.
Mhm.
So maybe that's a way of keeping on top of it.
Sure.
But I agree with you. We need to stay on top of it.
Can I ask a question / have an idea?
Sure.
I wonder if we can use the results from the RRC work, the list of all the businesses. And if we can filter that to have only the businesses that are either new or have moved to a new location in Greenfield. So any new location in Greenfield for a business. And then use that as a cue to look and see if there's been work done on the property. Usually when a business moves into a business location, right, the landlord or
And
somebody
there's a fit out for that.
has to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should check. I mean, maybe if it's just a lawyer moving from A to B, like it's not worth checking.
Right.
But if it's a decent sized business and they're in a new location, maybe that's a good cue for us. Hey, this might be a good one to go look at. Maybe make another list like we did for
Well,
David.
hopefully they are taking out the proper permits and everything.
Double check,
Yeah, absolutely.
double check.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if we can, maybe when our RC is done, then maybe I can work on trying to merge that somehow. And it might help, could you ask the RRC guy to maybe make an indication for each record as to whether the business is in a new location?
I'm sure there'll be something,
Something like that.
some indicator, because there was in our previous database that had something like that too, so.
Yeah, so I could use something like that, and then I can try and match the addresses or do they have parcel numbers on those?
No.
I don't think so.
Could they put parcel numbers on them? Because it's like impossible to match an address to find the parcel.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And Patriot is, there's a spot where you can associate it with a parcel ID.
Manually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't.
So I don't know, that could be part of what they're doing. We'll see.
I mean, if they're going business to business, they could write down the parcel number.
Well, it'd be an extra step and it might not be part of the regular process, but we'll see.
Worth asking. It would make that other analysis a million times easier to do.
Well, I think, the addresses, you can't match the addresses per se, but what you can do is you can select some combination of letters
Yeah.
that would be unique. And
It's just really unreliable. I get false positives, a lot of false negatives. It's a mess. I did
Yeah,
that.
no,
And if they're, like I said, if they can do it or they're already there or whatever, it's a nothing, then that would not only make it easier, but it would make it correct. It would be completely correct. And then, we could use that to just go, the David list, say, hey,
okay. Do we need to document, do we need to capture these ideas?
oh,
so that we can?
Devin's got the minute.
Couple minutes going.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Great. So let's see, we've done the valuation capture and the growth, the tip line, what's going on there?
I haven't had any new tips I think, Randy, did you ask and did I provide the latest?
Yes, and so we used that, Harold and I, or I used it to come up with the properties that we went out and inspected and got the, the biggest offenders, or not necessarily offenders, but the biggest ones that we were more concerned about. And there were changes that we did to almost all of them.
Really?
Yeah, and Harold took the cards and he was gonna enter them. He wanted to do the entering in Patriots. I don't have those results yet. And I'm actually, by now, he might have already done it, so I'll have to do some double checking. But we also felt that it might be good to just work the list in-house and then determine which ones we need to go out, because sometimes
Oh, yeah.
there are permits or other things that are explaining what are going on. And I ran into a little bit of that as I was going through and creating the list. So I used three things. I used our permit to value or permit versus value, and then the price per square foot that I made, and then the tip line. Between the three of those, I established, I think, about 15 properties that we got out to see before the meeting. And
That's fantastic. So you think we're gonna get some money from these people?
yeah, there's definitely was some growth and different things. Yeah, and a couple of them, one of the really the growing facilities and dispensaries. We went to a few of them, and we were thinking that we need to make it its own, its own
Its own category. Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
That'll be, we can assign a more appropriate price per square foot. Because even, we had that one property and it was still listed as a lodge, and I just changed the store, to a store, like a retail. And it made, about a $70,000, $60,000 difference.
Wow.
So just that alone. And so really, and that wasn't necessarily hitting the nail on the head either. But yeah, we found out some good things, and in a couple of cases had a good person to talk to that gave us a lot of information that helped us understand what was going on there. So we can still, continue to work on that list and, then go out to see the ones that we feel are necessary. But our deadline is quickly approaching of, November 15th to have all our field work done so that we can start crunching our numbers. So we will be here before you know it.
I just,
And,
thank you, Stephanie. Right,
so-
you and other members of the public, thank you. For the tip line.
Oh, the tip line.
Yeah, all these tips,
Okay.
Yeah,
they don't come from nowhere.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of tips that were color coded, and I do have those property record cards, and I'll go through and try to specify what the
did you,
color.
oh, yeah,
codes.
okay, the legend.
Yeah.
I think there might be only one person to ask for that legend.
Yeah, there is, but I think what I'll do is sometimes there are notes.
Yeah, well, then if there's that many, yeah, you can get a feel for it if you go over and start looking at it.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe in future, would you guys consider more publicizing of the fact that we have a tip list? And inviting people
Line?
to,
Well, we talked about it before when we were conflicting with the tip line
the
that.
building inspector has one.
Inspector has.
Yeah, and we encourage people.
Yeah, and I didn't think that was a bad idea. Let's have 50 tip lines and every little.
Sure.
It is, it's just more, if you had that many, it'd be a bit to maintain, but, I don't see the problem with having, one in a couple different places, or just say, hey, if you have a tip, call this person or that person or whatever, So we can, maybe put something on our site.
Yeah, something like that.
On our page that says, if you have a question about something that's going on,
Let us know. We will look into
shoot an
it.
Email to this, address, and then, that general, that was kind of the general assessor. And we can use that, so whatever we get back, if it's something that, needs to be passed along to the building department, we'll do so.
That's great.
Yeah, but we could do so just as a matter of course.
Mhm.
So, okay. All right, I'll get that color code taken care of. All right, council relations, expanding exemption qualifications. Update on meeting July deadlines to present to the council for votes on expanding local exemption adoptions.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I know that you had done a summary on all the different things that were available. And then Devin got us all of the most slated adopted paperwork so that we
Yeah.
had all of our ducks in a row.
We have all that. What we still need is some kind of wild estimate for the council on how much it's gonna cost them if they make any of these changes.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Oh, okay, and then what are the changes? Are the new changes enumerated somewhere or?
Yeah,
all
yeah,
changes?
that's the slide I gave. It's exactly what
Okay.
options there are for the council that we don't already have.
Okay,
And so what are they in particular, like going from 67 to 65?
That's one of them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there's not very many.
Potential increase to hit on the overlay to that.
That's
And that's kind of, that's tough to say. I mean, it'd be great and something that we would have to build up the overlay to a certain extent, but do we know exactly how many people that are, it's gonna entail? I don't know, but we could say maybe an extra 10,000 if it's 1,000 that they're gonna get. How many people would come on from that?
that's all we need, just some wild estimate
Yeah,
of that.
something. Yeah.
And then with that, can we ask for an appointment at
Yeah, we'd have to get on the agenda for the council, right? to talk about
I think is it Ways and Means?
yeah.
Yeah.
Start with ways and means.
Yeah,
And then let's go.
Okay, so is there, okay,
we also are gonna talk to them about the other information that they are looking for,
Yep.
have us present, so.
Yes,
Again, that's gonna be here before you know it too, so we should get on this agenda
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
yes.
you're talking about split tax?
Yeah, and the
And
residential exemption.
and anything else that they might have decided that they are, that something new that has come up that they want more information on, let's ask them now so that we have plenty of time to prepare.
Yes. Yep, that.
Okay. I'm wondering if we said, okay, we'd like to talk to you about split tax, residential exemption, and the various options that are available. Is there anything else? I'm not sure how they would know how to answer that.
Yeah, if there's anything else, they probably don't know, and that's part of why when you suggest things, you start giving them information when you're at the classification hearing, then the questions come. So,
But they don't know what they don't know. That's the
right,
problem.
and so maybe I can, basically, if I'm going over the information that I went over last year, maybe have them look at that again and see if it sparks any memories of different things, because we're talking about open space and, all these different things, the small commercial exemption, whether we're going to adopt that, all these different things to see if they're looking for additional information. And that's sort of what got me in trouble, is that I provided a little bit more information or elaborated on the residential exemption, which just led to more questions.
Yeah.
And whereas the previous year, we just kind of went right through it and passed it, and there were no questions, and it was barely a bump in the road.
So what I'm hearing is we ought to review the classification hearing data just as a way for them to jog their memory.
Right.
Okay. And we're also going to need a meeting. So I'll put together some sort of a memo that you can send to them so we can get on the agenda and then.
Okay, I don't think it has to be for me. Send it to them too. Like,
Yeah.
why not? As the chairman of the board.
Yeah, sure.
I pulled up the document I had done for this task, the exemptions. So there's only a few options for our council. One is moving from 17E to 17F. And then here's something from Kingston about what they did and why and what it did, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. that's the research that you've done, is that?
Yeah, I sent this out like months ago.
And so this is talking about your, for the 17F, then the amount of the 175 now increases with the cost of living adjustment?
Well, we had that already at 17E for the whole estate limit, but with 17F, apparently some different kind of COLA thing. That escapes me a little bit, but it's in that paragraph.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. See, the statute states 175, but because of the annual CPI increases, the exemption amount has nearly doubled. So the exemption amount increases over every year, as
Yeah.
well as the requirements.
Yeah,
So,
so that's gonna cost us money.
right, and so then how much, because it's not gonna go up that much, but it will, and it will be a gradual thing.
That's what the council needs to know, is a wild guess on how much this one will increase the overlay.
Look at how many 175s that we had last year, and then,
Yeah.
look at the percentage increase from last year, or even this year's adjustment, and then give them an idea, which it's gonna be, $1,000 or something like that.
Right. So we can say, you can enact this and support your seniors, your veterans to the max, and it'll cost you $1,000. Hopefully they'll agree that that's a good idea.
Okay.
And then the hardship deferral,
And so they don't have that for all of the other exemptions?
this kind of change with the
amount of
COLA?
exemption would increase with the cost of living adjustment as well as.
I don't know. I was just looking for what are the highest letters that exist now and what do we have? Right? I was doing this kind of mechanically. So this hardship deferral, we could lower our interest rate if we wanted.
How many hardship deferrals do we have?
We haven't done any.
Right. So we can do these things where we like, look, we're doing all these things and it's really not going to cost much.
Yeah, 18A is the hardship deferral.
Uh-huh.
18 is just a hardship.
Right.
So we have 18A, but we could change the interest rate. And then veterans,
Yeah.
22.
I think it's just flipped around on that first one.
Yeah.
Wherever it says 18, it should be 18A, where it's 18A. it should-
Okay, you want me to change this? Like this,
Yeah, it's,
like that?
Yep.
All right.
and the second one.
This one too here? Okay. Then this clause 22 veterans, we could reduce the residency from 5 years to 1 year. We could allow the exemption when the title is held by a fiduciary or trustee. Could add surviving parents, right? And these are all like tiny things, but they're available. Probably help a person or two, support our veterans, maybe not hit the overlay too bad.
And the rationale for reducing residency from 5 to 1?
Just to include more veterans.
I think the residency is at 2 years right now, without like choosing any adoptions.
Huh.
They changed that a little while ago.
Oh, all right.
I guess we could reduce it down to 1 year, if that's an option.
Maybe we want to just
Yeah, and
confirm
that
residency.
same act, the Soldiers and Sailors Act,
Okay,
that did the 22D to full instead of the 10% that we were looking at yesterday.
I'm.
Oh, yeah, it goes to full instead of a percent. Yeah.
Right, so with exemptions, you can reduce the tax amount only so much. It's gotta be at least, still pay 10% of what they would have paid. And that's how it was historically in the past. Really, the only time that it came into place with a 22D. But now with the 22D and the Soldiers and Sailors Act, it's a full, there's no 10%, it's just a full exemption. And so there are other things that changed during that, and I think that was one of them.
Well, great. That's double great.
And so these are the things, yes, this is also information we want to present to Ways and Means.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? Here's
Yes.
some things you could do. Here's a wild guess on how each one of these is going to hit the overlay. Do you want to? Do you want to? How do you want to vote? Right?
On that 22F, if Devin is correct, we probably ought to confirm residency at 2 years.
You think this is accurate? Like we already have to?
I'm not sure that 1 year residency you know, makes any sense. I don't think you're gonna catch anybody.
We don't have to recommend it.
Actually, we have one.
I just literally was just bringing up, what is the max that we could do? So I just looked at whatever is available in the law, and that's it. So, were you gonna say, Devin?
Oh, nothing.
So, I mean, if we wanna not recommend these things, we don't have to.
It's in the taxpayer's guide too, I think, the residency requirement, if you're looking for that.
Okay, in the guide.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the fun one here is 41, our favorite. Greenfield's very progressive with 41D. We could, as Randy just mentioned, we could change it from 67 down to 65. Again, we'd have to come up with some kind of idea about how many additional seniors that would get in, and how, that one's probably would hit the overlay bigger than all the rest of them combined. 41C and a half would really help them, but that requires a town vote.
For 2 years.
C and a half. Yeah. Oh, it is too.
Does it say?
Devin knows.
Down? See, I think it might, if it's a local adoption.
It's one consecutive year before the tax year begins, the legislative body of your city.
This last one we already did.
The local charter to accept this local option. Down to 2. Sure.
Yeah, really.
I'm not sure I take it off. That would be a reminder to them what we have done.
Oh, that we already did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we did. Well, they did. We didn't do it.
Okay. I'll check to see if they.
What's that?
The checkbox on the,
Yeah,
on the tax bills?
that's it. So this is all that I was able to find that Greenfield doesn't have. In terms of individual exemptions.
I'll see if I can find that file, but if I can, I'll let you. Okay,
And then the other one we were just talking about was the residential and the housing exemptions, which you guys already saw, and I will share. You guys have seen this, it's just 2 slides. This is about the residential exemption. Has some calculations in it that Jim and I did. I personally do not think we should recommend this now because we don't have enough housing stock.
For the residential exemption?
Yeah. Because if you don't have enough housing stock, then they just raise the rent.
Yeah, yeah, this is
but we're talking owner occupied.
It's, yeah, that's all considered here. That's the point. All the out-of-town landlords just raise the rent.
yeah, it's exactly the break-even point.
If there was
But that-
abundant housing stock, they wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, the exemption, it works only in certain situations or,
You're talking about the tax increase as a result of the exemptions to owner occupied.
Yes. Exactly.
Got it.
Again, if there was an abundance of housing stock, this technique would work great to encourage local landlords and all kinds of great things. But if rents are inelastic, this won't help at all, make it worse.
and so we're not at 1965, we're at 2039, so that would probably pump up the 2209 a little bit more too.
It certainly would. Certainly would.
Yeah, because that was,
That would be politically very unpleasant.
increased our taxable budget by 10.5% last year.
Yeah, thanks, Roxanne.
Hmm?
Thanks, Roxanne.
Yeah, well,
So yeah, anyway, but we're supposed to provide them this information so that they can chew over it and make their own decision.
yeah, let's give them the information now, right? And then when it comes time, if they are, or even, because we'll be talking Ways and Means before the classification hearing.
Yeah, that's what
And so, yeah, we'll
We're
give
doing
it a
it.
chance. And then even I think that, although after last year's meeting, there are people that weren't on Ways and Means that had an awful lot to say and were looking for the information. So I think we should have it prepared anyway. And maybe make it part of the presentation that we're doing. I just say, okay, we talked Ways and Means about this, we're not gonna, but just here's the information. And this is part of why we decided, not to recommend it, and
So if you guys want to work with me, we can craft this slide to be everything you want it to be.
yeah, okay, and even a little bit more in the financial impact.
Yeah.
We could use the calculator that's on, what's the system we use with the state?
Gateway.
Gateway, right? Gateway has a calculator.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So we could use the Gateway calculator instead of Chuck's.
And if it would show us like multiple values, by 100,000, like 150, 250, 350, 450.
Right.
To show the impact.
I did that on my spreadsheet, but again, it would be better to use an official tool than my.
Yeah.
And then the other slide is the affordable housing one. And again, it doesn't seem like it would help. And it looks like it might hurt. Again, the same way, increased rent, but there's also
Yeah,
some other downsides. So I had, in the past, I had thought that this one would.
a combination of the two.
That's right. I thought that that would work, but no, I don't think that's gonna work.
Combination of the two.
These two exemptions.
Oh,
So I thought that this would be a way to get the landlords, the out-of-town landlords to not raise rents, because if they could qualify for this. But it's a little complicated, but there's really no reason for them to do that. We could make this exemption high enough that it would be worth it for them to do it, but then as I think I talked about, it makes this big donut hole. And yeah, I don't think it'll work. But again, we can work on this together, make it better, council, whatever, but.
Well, and hopefully we can get, the temperature from the Ways and Means people there, and how much the attention they pay to it or emphasis they give on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, thanks, that's just,
They may disagree with our economic analysis and have their own economic analysis.
yeah, okay.
So, okay, anyway, so those are the topics and there they are. So those are the drafts I have. If you want another copy of these, I can send or share. And then I feel like we should make the date with the Ways and Means, and then that'll force us to get together and optimize these slides in time. But I mean, I would present these slides as they are, but there's no reason that we can't all work together to make them with the best. of what
Yeah,
all of us.
and maybe, I think that they're good too, but maybe with another one, like I was saying, with a visual from, if it's the same type of thing, to give a better idea.
A chart,
Yeah, a chart to show more value.
you can do that.
Effect on it.
Yeah.
Might just be, I don't know, I guess, sometimes you don't want to open, open yourself up for more questions. And I guess if we don't think it's gonna do that, then.
I love making charts though.
Yeah.
No problem. All right.
okay.
Mhm.
So that's the council, the educational outreach. I need to call Judy Raper at GCC to square away what's going on there. I've already set up a standing first Tuesday of every month for assessors night at the, well, not an assessors night, a 2 hour slot, 1 or 2 hour slot at the library.
At the library, yeah, okay.
And the issue with GCC is they want to charge, and we don't want payment to be a problem.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If we could give a donation, I understand if they need to get compensated somehow for the use of their facility. I certainly understand, but, and I thought that I said something like that, and then she said something back, like if we could do some type of donation somehow, or.
yeah, well, she said she's done freebies in the past, but it does cost them something. So whether I'll talk to her. I'm not sure whether the city can make a donation to them.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. And where would it come from? CPA or something like that?
I don't know. But I'll find out about that.
And actually, aren't they asking for ideas on how to spend CPA money, like projects, that type of thing? I don't know if this would,
Yeah, that meeting.
right? Isn't that coming up right now? So maybe it would be, hey, you know, we're trying to do this outreach and we want to use this facility and.
I don't know.
And, yeah, how much would it be? You know, if they're saying $10 per person, well, if 3 people show up, that's not, you know, much of a donation for them, but.
No, but we can at least cover their costs.
And that's what I'm saying. I wonder what their costs are so that we could, you know, at least, you know, try and set it up so that they're being adequately compensated for what they're, you know, helping us with.
Yep. Okay. I'll take care of that.
And, yeah, I have my, ask the assessor today.
Okay. And there were a bunch of things on the website that I noticed. I don't know if I sent it out to folks. I know, Devin, I said that, you know, the minutes were missing.
They've been added since.
So I'll put together this list, including what I sent to you.
Okay.
You know, for example, there's a link, abatements and exemptions, but only deals with exemptions, not abatements. You know, that the assessor forms and info are really the abatement forms only. We ought to have the exemption forms as
Mhm.
well. You know, I'll type this up and send it off.
Okay, and so weren't you working with that, with Matt, with that stuff?
I'll send it to Matt and make sure we can do something there.
Yeah, because that stuff all should be available on the website.
Yeah,
The forms anyway.
well, I'll take care of it. I just didn't get around to it. Okay, educational outreach, the tax taking. I'm,
There was, I think, one thing coming out of that, if I recall, which is the idea of, her sending us a list.
right, and I was sending her a list of exemptions that she
Yeah.
can include.
We can share lists with each other,
Yeah,
with the goal of improving that process to be similar to what we do with individual exemptions. We actually try and contact people, engage with them.
well, do we have a one sheet summary of all the exemptions with the current rates?
Oh, that's right, we were talking about that and creating something that had all of it, but
And I know we have,
table based.
yeah, we have multiple page descriptions. I can take a cut at just, you know, making them more bullet form.
Mhm.
So, list of exemptions for Kelly. And, let's see.
And we need to get the list of people in trouble from her.
I think that's gonna be, she said that's gonna be available in September, or she would send it to you guys around then.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, then we can send something to them to make them aware of the different things that are.
I think we need to call them. That was the big thing that Kelly was not doing. And that's the thing we do. And we were talking, remember, about how a lot of seniors have challenges with snail mail, you know.
Yeah,
So the idea that you pioneered the culture about we're gonna call people even though we don't have to. We need more of that.
Yeah.
I'm still, you know, I had a meeting with some residents talking about the tax taking process. And the communications really still suck. You know, the information about tax taking on the collector's website, I'm not sure is as helpful as it could be. You know, like having a timeline and, you know, Kelly brought up stuff that we do, although we don't have to do it. And I think, you know, having a summary of these things so that people could say, what is this tax taking thing? And if I start down the road, how do I get off the road? And things like that. And I'm not sure, but that's somebody else's department.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, is that I hear what you're saying, and I think it's a good idea, but it's not up to us.
No,
It's not up to us, but I just wonder if you and I could just call people.
well, we can
Yeah, you do
certainly call
calls, I
people.
mean, it's a great idea to reach out and say, hey,
You
I'm
should
not-
contact Kelly.
I'm not calling you, I'm not calling you to harass you for payment, but
Yeah,
I'm just calling you to ask you, how you're doing and, there's these different things that are available to help you with your situation.
Just so that they don't-
Idea, and I don't know if it's,
I just don't want to see another person falling prey to their neighbor or somebody like that.
well, there were a lot of extenuating circumstances that Kelly filled me in on with that, and it happened 10 or 12 years ago. But, there was a lot of information that was left out. And part of the reason why the offer was so low is because of the condition of the house. And that's ultimately why it didn't happen, because it still was so bad that
Well, if the house was so bad, how come it wasn't assessed at 30,000?
that's a good point. And because a lot of people don't know, and that's where we can kick into.
Yeah,
When we call to say, listen, what is the status? This is what we have, it's a good idea to say, this is what, and I do it all the time. I'm saying, your property record card tells me a story. And then the story that you're telling me about the condition of your house, and then the story that the property record card is telling me are two different things, or we can go that route. This is a story that the property record card is telling me that your place is in really good shape, and this is, or average condition for, whatever it may be. And then if it's run down, then yes, get out there, because everyone's afraid of the assessor coming out to the house because their taxes are gonna go up.
exactly. Yes, and this is, I just, yeah, we're okay. I just wanted to show again, this chart that I made during the campaign, which I still don't think we've really looked at, because it really falls below the priority of so many other things that we've been doing. But
Did you want to share your screen?
yeah, I'm finding the chart, because it's a chart that I made that is still, it's hard for me to find, but it just shows that properties which are their most recent sale prices were below $200,000, and it was within the last 20 years of sales. They're all assessed at around 200,000. So there's a histogram of those properties where they go down, some of them, the last sale price was $10,000 or 20,000. They're terrible, right? Terrible condition properties. And they're all assessed at 200, something like 160 or something. And I was assuming the reason for that was because of the drive-by assessing, where you can't go in and say, hey, there's asbestos, right? We don't test for asbestos. But when someone sells their house, oh, wow, there's asbestos.
Right, and that's when you get the opportunity finally to get inside or to see pictures from MLS after the sale.
Right. Even though we never test for radon or asbestos or lead.
No, that's, yeah, we're not doing that.
Not our.
We're not doing that. But just to the point, so when they sell it, it's a lot less. And that's exactly what you were just saying. When we call these people, if we end up calling them, we find out, what their house situation really is.
Mhm.
So I don't know of a systemic way of fixing that problem.
It's a novel approach that's never been done, really. Yeah, so what could we do in an effort to be proactive? And how's it going to be received? Some people are going to hang up the phone.
That's right.
And some people are going to have a few choice words before they hang up the phone, probably. But some people we might get, and they'll say like, oh, then they don't, they're just, in my opinion, maybe a lot of stuff that they don't understand. And, I still don't think it's our responsibility for everyone to know how taxes work in the whole 9 yards. And once you become a homeowner, that you're responsible for a certain amount, but it doesn't mean that we can't, make the educational information available and then try and pass it on to people that, you know, are in distress or financial distress or showing signs of financial distress, let's say.
So this is, sorted by last sale price. And the blue is our assessment. So you can see, right, last sale price, and here's about 150 is kind of this cutoff, where above 150, you see that these track pretty well. The last sale price and our assessment are tracking pretty good. But down here, I mean, we have basically a straight line, and the sale prices, there's many, 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 which are very, very low.
The purple represents what?
Well, it's an overlap of red and blue. So the sale prices are in red and blue is the assessment. So you can see here, there's very little red sticking below or blue sticking above. It's right about the same. But down here, it's all blue above. And you can see it's basically a flat line saying we assess at about 200, but the actual sale prices of these properties, some of them are down here.
So the purple is the sale price,
Yeah,
and then the up and down around that are the assessments.
yeah. So
Right.
it's just, it is what it is. I don't
Yeah,
really know what to do about it.
well, I can think that a lot of it are, you know, aging seniors that are in their homes. They're responsible, and the kids probably aren't tuned in enough to assessment to say, hey, you know, we should have someone come over and lower this. They just, you know, because it's not, you know, assessed higher than the value that is being, you know, the value that it would produce on the open market.
You know, if we get a list of taxpayers that are in distress, I'm trying to think of, is there a way to approach them that is non-threatening and helpful?
Well, that's what we're talking about figuring out.
Yeah,
And so we're gonna have to develop that to a certain extent.
yeah. I mean, we need, I think we need an excuse to be talking to them about their distress.
You know, and the excuses is that we found out from the collector that you're over a year behind on your taxes.
And I guess then we can say, and we just want to make sure that you're being assessed properly.
Right, yeah, because that can be our focus.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of times in these situations,
Right.
you know, we might have your value higher than, you know, higher than your actual,
Yeah.
what's happening at your location. So
Yeah.
contacting you to see. We can start that way and then see where the conversation can lead. And
Yeah.
So for 2022, this, I blew up the bottom of that chart.
Yeah.
In 2022, about a third of all Greenfield's homes are shown here. They were sale price below 150, about a third.
But now is that taking into account non-arm's length sales?
Yes.
This is only arm's length, so
Yes.
there's no coded sales in there.
Yes, definitely. Arm's length was the first thing I did. And then I thresholded it to only be sales in 2000, because if they're older than that, then they're all way low. But yeah, and then I did a chart of the year and the sale year, and 2000 is a good cutoff before it goes down that way. But anyway, yeah, you can see it's exactly what I just said on the other chart. It's just the assessments never go that low because there's smoke coming out the chimney. It's worth 2K or 200K. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but, okay, so in a perfect world, what would happen is that dispersion, the purple, blue, whatever it is,
Would be down with the red.
would be down with the red.
Yeah.
And because the assessed value would drop.
Would match to the sale price, like
Yeah.
it's supposed to.
No, I got that.
Yeah.
But the problem then becomes that the tax rate would go up.
Right, because we would lose all the value from these properties.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a third of properties, at least in 2022. So, yeah, but it would be more fair. Because it's not like at the top that the assessments are higher than sale prices. They're not. It matches up there. It's only the people at the bottom who this is happening to.
Yeah, but there are a lot of them.
There are.
and in aggregate, the impact on the tax base,
Could be bad.
yeah,
But
I'm wondering if we need.
I don't even know how we would do it though. I just don't know how. Like, I mean, like we were just talking, we can't go, it's literally not our mandate to go test homes for asbestos and lead
Oh, no,
and
no, no, no,
water
no.
problems and stuff.
I don't see anything there that says asbestos or lead. I mean,
Well, that's like we were just saying, the reason the sale prices are low.
it doesn't matter for the reason, because we take a look at the sales price and that has something to do with the assessment, not the reason for the sale price being low. I agree with you. And I think for radon and lead paint and all this other, that is the homeowner certifies that as part of the sale.
Well, then this is just something for how camera works then. Because when you do all the tables and stuff, this is what you get.
No, I agree, but this is the financial thing and not the reason the property prices are so low. Maybe, as you say, could be conditioned, whatever it is, but it really doesn't matter. All we're doing is comparing the sales price, for whatever reason, against the assessed value.
Yep.
And
Because to a certain
they're not
extent,
working.
we should have the same thing. There's higher valued homes that aren't
Yeah.
assessed as high as they are, what's
Now,
the.
unfortunately,
And
the higher value homes at all tracks, you can see here, tracks. There's not a lot of little red lines up there.
But, a lot of times you don't have the value there and you find out about it when it sells because they've done, whatever.
Again, it's
And then-
tracking. It's tracking.
Well, I'm still unclear on that. What that says is there are a whole bunch of valuations, above the purple there for the higher price.
They're not. This is skinny as heck. There's as many reds as there are blues up here.
But there's some real large blue spikes.
Sure, there are spikes.
Yeah.
One house to the next, but there's also red spikes going down where the assessed valuation is less than the sale price.
Yeah, but there aren't very many of them, and
There's certainly some up here and there's none down here.
I think we're talking about two different things.
Okay.
The right-hand side, we're in agreement on that.
Mhm.
Okay. The left-hand side, all I'm pointing out there are some spikes that are really high, which suggests that the valuations, that the assessments are not in line with
Yeah, sure.
sale.
Some.
And if everything came down to the purple, to the sale price, that would be a hell of a whack in
Sure.
terms of revenues.
But remember, all the reds would come up too. All these reds here, they should all go up because they're all
Yeah,
under
sure.
assessed.
No, that's true, but
So my eyeball is saying that these basically cancel out up there.
okay, all right, well. It's an analysis problem, and I'm not sure that there is anything one can do about it because of the impact on the
Yeah.
tax base.
I just brought it up because that's exactly what we're saying about these seniors when we call them about the tax taking. It may be the case, just like with this, Mr. Gordon or other people where their house is actually only worth 30 or 40 or 50,000.
Sure.
And we're taxing it at 150 or 160 or
Right.
something. That's all.
Okay. Where are we?
Pilot programs.
Pilot programs.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for catching my order of magnitude error. Yeah. But it suggests that maybe the pilot program is a worthwhile program and I can finish up the research on what other cities are doing. But did you put together a list of those, those parties, there were a dozen of them or something like that, and the taxes that they now pay? You have that list?
No, but I do remember you asking about it.
Yeah, and I can blow out that, what I sent was a summary where, all the properties owned by a particular exempt organization were collapsed into a total number. And I can
Yeah, because I.
load those so you know what they are.
Yeah, okay, because that was another thing that I was getting different numbers on, and so it
Okay,
looked like more of a project that I just didn't have a chance to get to yet.
let's see, do we know, yeah, we have the owner list and the amount. Oh, no, I guess we only have valuations. We don't have how much people actually paid in taxes.
Right.
That isn't public. I
Um,
mean, it is, but it's not on the website or easily accessible.
no, it's not. I'm not sure if that's something.
We can calculate it before.
Do that.
Tax rate times valuation.
Yeah, but that only tells us what they would owe if they paid what they were assessed for.
Oh, the pilot ones, yeah.
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 And we don't know how much they actually paid in taxes and that.
If anything. Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll put together that list so that maybe you can,
Yeah, then I'll troubleshoot it.
okay. Okay. And senior center meetings, how we doing?
like I said, going today.
Going today?
I hope I get,
Are they appointments that people make with you in advance, or is it just
well,
walk?
they make with the senior center.
Yeah, okay.
I asked, I asked for walk-ins, but they won't do it.
Yeah.
They won't let walk-ins see me.
Yeah.
So they insist that people, and they wouldn't let me have more than 1 hour a month. They said, let's see what the demand is.
Yeah, okay.
So far demand hasn't been high enough to force me over that. In fact,
Yeah, okay.
last
But it's
it was only
been-
one person.
Yeah, okay, but it's at least been semi-regular?
This month,
Yeah, okay. And there's always at least one person you're talking to, if not more.
so far, yeah. Fourth
Okay.
Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah, and every time, and the person has said that they really enjoyed it. It was
Yeah,
great.
well, it's great. Yeah, and it's yeah, like a one-on-one opportunity, and that some people are more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I spent half an hour going through their property record card, going through that equation about tax rate times, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make sure that my slot at the library is an hour to start.
Mhm.
And they won't take reservations. And I think I'm negotiating with them to figure out how to get the word out through the library lists. So that's it. We have,
Oh, and Devin was nice enough to give me all the exemption forms and stuff, which I now have over at the senior center.
Do you need any more of either? of
I'll
these?
let you know after I go there
All
today,
right.
see if they're all gone.
Okay.
you
I
just
think it'll
leave
be
them
all
out?
right.
You just leave them out?
I left some out and I stashed some in the office, so I would always have one if I needed it. Yeah,
Right. And the next meeting dates, we have them,
Forecasted here, yes.
okay?
That's,
And
it should be 9:30 to 11:30 going forward. Not
Okay.
necessarily.
okay,
August 6th, that's the next one.
can I move that we
open. public
reopen
comment.
public comment because of our technical difficulties earlier?
Yes.
I will second.
And here we go.
Aye,
Okay, public comment.
public comment.
Is there any?
Hi. Stephanie
Stephanie.
Duclos, 166 Chapman Street. I'm really disappointed that I missed the beginning of the meeting. I did have a couple questions about, or actually comments about the new growth and the permitting, and I was hoping to hear a little bit more about the the positions being filled or not being filled. I missed whether or not you guys have done that. So I had watched the new growth meeting and the permitting process. So what my comment was is that the closing of the permits are important, because if they don't come and ask for an extension, the permit theoretically expires and then triggers having to come and reapply for another permit, which then of course would give us the money to do, the money towards the new permit in our new growth. Also, I didn't know if that position at the assessor's office, because I'm still weighing whether or not I'm gonna apply. If it's a part-time position, if it's flexible, what the parameters of that position are, and maybe Randy could reach out to me via email. If there's still availability. What's the other thing? There was something else I was gonna mention, but I had it all on the top of my head in the beginning of the meeting, and I kind of lost it since then. So those are just my comments, just on the new growth, the permitting, closing will then inspire people to come and get new permits, would then also give us more money on the application of those new permits, as well as being able to double check, because I know for a fact that I've seen the building permits that have been open, never closed, and the construction that was open, say 10 years ago on a permit, even though that work may or may not have happened, let's say the roof is now beyond that time frame, the roof permit stays open. Now, instead of the new owner coming in and saying, oh, I'm going to pay for another roof permit, we're not capturing that, because that permit that may have needed the roof 10, 15 years ago is now open still, and someone goes, oh, well, I'm just going to work on that permit that I opened a long time ago, when theoretically it's already expired, and they really should be coming back, applying for those permits so that we can capture the money. And we also should be on top of, what you guys had mentioned in that meeting, that accurate depiction of the work and, the cost reflected on that, because of the permits, being based on what you report.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
So I heard two topics. And Randy, you addressed it in the new growth meeting. You talked about open permits and the relationship you've got with building department. And then the other thing is we talk about the clerk. We just talked about Devin, you want to just summarize about, I'll just say it so fast. Devin's going to do her bureaucracy with the assistant position. And then once that's done, then HR will be able to put out for the clerk position. And there's 10 days for internal people get to have first dibs. And after that, it will be made open.
I believe that's the case, yeah.
And personally, Stephanie, someone with your passion for these topics, I'm excited that you're thinking about applying. But
It is a full-time position, though, that we're looking for. It has, the other part was posted and expired last Friday, and then I didn't have the opportunity to speak to Sasha to see if the other one is posted, or it should be. And so I'm going to be following up and rattling cages to make sure that that happens today.
And that'll be on the.
And then that's going to start the whole 10-day internal. And then after that, it will be open to the general public.
So where would that be on the city website?
Um,
Positions open or something like that?
It's probably a subcategory under human resources.
Right, and we won't see it until the internal time has expired for people.
But I just wanted to point Stephanie towards it.
Oh, yeah, it's under the HR department. There's job openings. You can see what we've got.
okay. But then, yeah, you said all that stuff about how you were going to some of the open permits now, and that maybe Mark didn't need to do that stuff about.
Well, when we go and find out about the permits, yeah, because you're looking at the, municity or the information from the building department. And whether it's open or closed on their end really doesn't make a difference to our end, because we're going to go and we're working that, and we're not interconnected, because we can't see how long they're open. We're looking at them and we're working them if it's something that's needed, like you're talking about a roof permit. Well, a roof permit is something that we might not go and look at because we can't micromanage everyone's roof and assess the value of the roof by the number of years old. I'd have to, just be all over town looking at roofs. We just don't have the time to do that. So it's either you have a roof or you don't. We'll look at the permit, and if it's a different material, that will make a difference. So if you're going to a metal roof from asphalt shingles, then we would make a note in the system about that. But then we would, in theory, on our end, be closing it in Patriot. So it would kind of, once we're finding out about something going on, then we would close it ourselves because we found out from the homeowner when we went to inspect that it didn't happen. Although we are talking about interactivity, and Vicky has been letting us know about different things that have been withdrawn. When the whole permit is withdrawn, it was going to happen, and now it's just not going to happen.
Right.
And so at least we're starting to bridge the gap or open the lines of communication and work together a little bit better. And
So we're getting more aggressive in pursuing permits that are not closed. There's even permits that are still open, if they have big impacts in value, we are going after them.
in theory, our G has been doing it. So yes, that's what should be going on. And they should be working something, and the way I've done it in the past, and I had one homeowner who was just picking away at it on his own. And it took 3 years and he still wasn't done. He was almost done 3 years later, but I still had to go back in the 4th year. I ended up leaving before then, and I passed the information along. But that's what I do, is I'll be working everything out of a spreadsheet. And if it's not done, or I have to go back for a particular reason, I'm leaving it there. And then the next time I'm in the field, or the next, 6 months later, I'm going back to check it again.
But when we close out a permit, then, we're closing it out, but it really ought to be closed out by the inspection.
And we don't really close it out.
I know we close it out with respect.
Yeah, we're just noting that we went and did our due diligence to inspect. But, on Mark's end, should they close everything out? And, get to a certain point where they contacted people and say, okay, it's expired. Yeah, that'd be great, but that's also more staff, and even shorthanded, and that's part of why we have what we have.
Yeah.
And part of it is just, the nature of people and not getting it done. And yeah, I guess they should have some other regulations. And I'm not sure if we had touched on that, but how long does it stay open before you know it, it's expired?
Yeah,
Apparently, we never.
Yeah, and so maybe that's something that they should consider, is that, okay, this is expired. So, because, although in Stephanie's scenario, you were talking about the next owner, another owner coming on and seeing that there was an open permit. I think that in that case, with the change of ownership, it would have to be a new permit. But yeah, I can see in a lot of times, the one permit becomes a big catch-all for all this other stuff that people want to do. And it would be great to have a better system or more checks and balances.
so do open permits carry over to the new owner?
No, I don't think that they do that.
So there's an expiration upon sale.
I don't know, actually. This is how I think it should work, but we'd have to have Mark here.
In the first new growth meeting, there was a story told about some business, I think or some commercial landlord was selling some large property, and during the process of that, it came out that they had an open permit for a very significant renovation, which would have been new growth, which was from like 20 years ago, still open. And they were just saying, hey, city, can you close this out? And, we were stuck with the, we could have gotten 15 years worth of.
Whatever value.
Yeah. So that was like an apocryphal story. I don't know which business it was. I don't know if it was you who told that or Mark who told that story.
Doesn't matter.
That was the story. And that's what brought up this whole thing about open. But to your point, Randy, the building doesn't have to change their process for us to address this. We can address it without them. If they change their process to have permits automatically closed, that might help us. But like you said, the word is consider.
So I'm unclear on things. First of all, for the person that didn't close out the permit, and now there would be a big change in valuation upon the sale. Is there a way of going back and collecting some of those back taxes? Not even for the previous year? This is, two wrongs make three wrongs.
Yeah, I mean, again, it would be, these are what these new growth meetings are all about.
Mhm.
Identifying ways that maybe we can improve our processes, but there's always pros and cons with every issue. And, you know, it was not clear from our last meeting, as Stephanie will attest. There wasn't a lot of interest in making permits automatically close.
Okay.
Wasn't a lot of interest in that, especially because we're stepping up to, you know, deal with the issue.
And how long was the new growth meeting?
Couple of a little more.
It was long. It was 2 hours.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, okay, too.
And Ginny was there the whole time.
I had to leave actually before it was done, didn't I think?
What's that?
Did I have to leave before it was?
Oh, yeah, I think you did. Yeah, but the last part, she really wanted Amy and the new growth team, the development team to talk, and there was a lot of talk about specific properties. Amy had a list and Eric had a list, and they were talking about specific properties.
And we were talking with Harold about getting a presentation of his ideas.
That's right. Harold was offering a strategic growth guide.
Yeah.
And so we were encouraging Amy and Harold to get together to work on that and maybe co-present that. Harold's material will be greatly appreciated. It is in Amy's shop. So,
Yeah.
And I just received an email from Amy. It was to me and Mark, I think, about attending that presentation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
a Harold presentation.
Yeah.
She made a remark about not all of us attending because then it'd be a quorum.
Right, right. And so maybe you can consider that like a pre-meeting. Right, so you guys can work on it, get to a better place, and then bring, once it's consented upon, then it could go.
The general public again?
Yeah.
Because I just,
Stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sure.
yeah, so Jay, or Ryan, is there anything that you would like to say for public comment? Well, we still have it open?
Okay, well. No,
So then,
no, there, anything, right,
Yep. Yep.
okay, all right. Well, I think then we'll close, do I hear a motion to close?
yeah, I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Okay,
I'll second.
All in
okay,
favor? Aye.
great, okay. And now we have,
We need to go into executive session.
Okay.
And do we have enough time to go through all of these? Maybe should we adjourn to the
what,
application for executive session? I don't know.
Oh, do we have like a retirement board?
what's on the board?
I think somebody's coming in right after.
What, you want to just go down to your office and process them all?
That's what I was gonna say. If we can do executive session downstairs. maybe.
Okay, so we are going to executive session.
Second.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, we don't need Zoom anymore, so.
Right, and so we can actually end the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Okay.
I move we end the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Well, I think it's gonna be one at a time, but I will second that we end our meeting.
Okay, aye. And then I move that we go into executive session.
Yes.
So
And
moved.
I will second. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good.
All right.
So that's it for recording.